Como la schwitzt.
New information into what may have led to this suspicious fire amidst communities embroiled in a turf war. Sources in Curious Joel say that the blaze on the village border in Monroe was politically motivated, sparked by the outcome of the local elections. And News 12's Blaze Gomez has that story you'll see only on 12.
The inferno could be seen Monday for miles.
It's a fight between the dissidents themselves, between the leaders.
On Friday, News 12 spoke exclusively with this Curious Joel dissident who asked we not show his face and distort his voice in fear of retribution. He claims the Monroe blaze was purposely set after an internal Election Day dispute among members of the anti-village government group and their leader, who allegedly owns the property and told members to vote against a growing group in town.
They don't want any support for the United Monroe because their writings are anti-Semitic.
He's asking the dissidents to vote in line with Anash.
That's correct.
This man, who claimed to be a village official, also asked we not identify him.
Ziggy Brach decided he wants to deal with the village of KJ and the town to help the people who lives in the village of KJ.
He too claims the alleged property owner and dissident leader asked followers to vote in line with the village group Anash because his property is tied up in a turf war. So he wants that property to be annexed into the village.
That's correct.
But the dissidents voted against the block vote and helped elect Dennis McWaters, who's against annexation, to the town board. Police say investigators found several locations where the fire on Mountain Road was started. And while some are blaming the dissidents themselves, others say it was a setup that the main faction is behind. In Curious Joel, Blaze Gomez, News 12.
Our attempts to reach Ziggy Brach for comment today were unsuccessful. Police say they are still interviewing witnesses, but that could take weeks before lab tests can determine whether or not that fire was purposely set.
Gätzle liegt der Gätzle.
And take a look at this. Thousands of Hasidic Jews taking to the streets of Kiryas Joel. 2 people were actually arrested during this protest in the latest fight over a synagogue there. News 12's Mia Toski has more on what's going on.
Get off of our property. You're a criminal.
The fighting at Kiryas Joel continued Tuesday.
You're a terrorist.
You're not allowed to come on our property. Get off of our property. This is their property. Get off our property. This is our property over there. Get off of our property. You're a criminal.
You belong in Iran.
The bitter quarrel at the normally insular Hasidic community comes days after 2 men were arrested and hundreds took to the streets in protest. fighting erupted Sunday morning. One group says bulldozers came to tear down their small synagogue located in the back of Congregation Yetev Lev, the largest synagogue in Kiryas Joel. And that's when cops were called in.
Have a picture. I got a picture in the front. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys and one little guy.
Take that gun off! You're not leaving here! You're not leaving! I'm going to leave you! Get off our property! Get public safety, get off our property! You're a criminal organization! You're a criminal organization! Get off our property! Public safety, get off our property! Get off our property! Get off our property! Get off our property! You get the arrested! Get off our property! Get off our property! Get off our property!
News 12 met with leaders from the two parties under scrutiny from both sides. We were told religious freedom is the issue.
They are just unhappy with our congregation and with our rabbi, very simple. They are just unhappy with our congregation and with our rabbi, very simple.
We want to be able to have our freedom to pray where we need to go to synagogues where we feel comfortable there, where we don't get intimidated.
Joseph Waldman represents the group that created the smaller place of worship years ago. Documents provided by Congregation Yetev Lev show the group owns the building but are not permitted to hold religious meetings here. That's one fight. Now the bulldozers have created another. Damage to the land. Congregation Yetev Lev says they'll clean it up, but the dissidents say it's more the same intimidation.
I am fearful. I'm fearful for the last 20 years.
Digging and so on by mistake touched their garbage house, which belongs to them really, and we will fix that.
At least one ingredient of mainstream America has seeped into this community, a passion for freedom. In Kiryas Joel, Mia Toski.
Well, leaders in the dissident faction there tell us the protests will likely continue. They claim there's no separation between church and state in the village of Kiryas Joel, and they say they've lost many of their constitutional rights. Abraham Weider is the village's mayor. He's also the president of the larger congregation, Yetev Lev. He was unavailable for comment tonight.
Digging and so on by mistake touched their garbage house, which belongs to them really, and we will fix that. Digging and so on by mistake touched their garbage house, which belongs to them really, and we will fix that. They are just unhappy with our congregation and with our rabbi, very simple.
You belong in Iran! You belong in Iran!
We want to be able to have our freedom to pray where we need to go to synagogues where we feel comfortable there, where we don't get intimidated.
Joseph Waldman represents the group that created the smaller place of worship years ago.